farmers and MPs are split on how Australia should be handling the outbreak of foot and mouth in Indonesia after more fragments were detected in Adelaide. The government has ruled out border closures for now, despite calls from the opposition. But let's go to Indonesia to see how they're dealing with things. And joining us live from Jakarta is the regional managing editor of English news site Coconuts Bali, Andra Nasrie. Andra, thanks for your time this morning. So how bad is it? How bad is foot and mouth disease in Indonesia at the moment?
Well, good morning, Peter. I should say straight up that on a day-to-day basis that we almost don't really hear that much about it, at least in civilian urban life, where civilian urban life is concerned. But we do know that the government has been busy behind the scenes trying to contain the disease. Latest official data shows that 22 out of 37 provinces, and that includes all of the provinces in all of Java, have been declared red zones. These are zones with 50% of its districts or cities within that province that have been recorded cases of foot and mouth. And there's been a huge vaccination drive going as well, and we're in the midst of that at the moment.
So 22 out of 37 provinces, that's more than half. That's fairly significant. Is the government indicating that it's under control, or is it still out of control?
Well, the government seems keen to downplay fears of foot and mouth, especially with tourism on the rebound, especially as it relates to Bali, with Australia seemingly the only country that is at the moment kind of freaked out about travel to Bali. So our Agriculture Minister, Mr. Sharon Yassin Liputo, last week actually went all out and claimed that Bali has contained the outbreak. I mean, the island has only recorded 128 FMD cases so far, and that's compared to 400,000 plus nationwide. Our tourism minister, Mr. Sandiaga Uno, has also said that travel is absolutely safe. They are going to step up biosecurity measures at the airport screenings and sanitize articles of clothing before boarding, and all sorts of measures to ensure that the virus that causes the disease doesn't travel down under.
Because the layout in Indonesia, as you know, it's so unique, but it's interesting for our viewers, perhaps they haven't been there. Indonesia's got many resorts that are kind of mixed in with agricultural land, right? So, I mean, you can step outside of a resort and, you know, you can find livestock and you can find agricultural land across the road. It's that close and that simple to pick up and then transport.
Indeed, yeah. That's why I guess I understand some in Australia calling for Aussie tourists on their way home to ditch their shoes in Bali, because, as you know, shoes can come in contact with contaminated soil. But again, the Ngurah Rai airport officials in Bali again downplayed fears and said that there's nobody's really paying attention to that advisory.
Right. Okay. So is that an indication that I mean, of course they're going to do that because they don't want to alarm people. But do they have enough?
Exactly.
Do the authorities in Indonesia have enough capabilities, or do they need more help to be able to handle it?
So we know that Indonesia's received some 5 million Australian dollars in aid to combat foot and mouth disease locally. And some of that went into the vaccination program. Indonesia imported 3 million doses of the vaccine so far. And as of July 18th, 540,000 animals have been vaccinated, mostly in central Java. But the officials have noted that the efforts to vaccinate have been hindered by a distinct lack of vaccinators, as well as access to remote areas, the most remote areas in Indonesia. And just to compare that to the numbers of the caseload in Indonesia, as I said earlier, 400,000 plus have been infected. And from those, 165,000 animals have recovered, 2,800 have died. 4,400 have been called, or as they call it, conditionally slaughtered here.
Right. Okay, Andra, we're out of time, but we will have to leave it there. Thank you for your time this morning, giving us that update. That's Coconuts Bali. It's a nice sounding publication there from Andra there in Jakarta. Thanks for coming to us.